Okay, the question is, how do you stop spirits and entities from entering your being? And is spirits or reptilians connected to your DNA? Well, you really can't stop spirits and entities from entering your being because that's what you're composed of. It's just that you solidify, and you're just a giant bunch of spirits and beings that first was a cloud that came together to form a solid and became eventually you. And you're just, there's a you, the consciousness that's trapped inside all the spirit and entities. These spirits and entities, you know, that's why they call them the archons, you know, Doldabaoth and his world, because they literally are alive, living cells. If you've been trying to hear what I'm saying, that's what I'm trying to tell you. You really can't avoid it because they're part of the subconscious world. And whenever you go to sleep or doze off or go into some type of alpha state, you're going to see them. They're part of that world. And you got to get used to them because a lot of people don't understand what is matter and what we live in. And matter is a living being. And if you have a magnetic field to protect you from matter. But if your magnetic field is weak, then you get them interacting with you. That's how they get to touch you, because everyone has its own energy signature and unique identification code. But if your magnetic field is compromised, then it's not going to protect you anymore. So that's when you get the spirits and entities coming into you and you can't stop it. So how does this happen? This happens with your attitude. Your attitude determines what spirits and entities you're going to have on you. If you have an urban attitude, you're going to have urban spirits and those type of things on you. If you have a cool attitude, you're going to have, you know, kind of like a sympathetic magnetic field, meaning it'll provide energy to heal, and also it could be drained. If you have a strong magnetic field, nothing can penetrate it. You know, you're like a god, regardless of the circumstances, regardless of the situation. Now, for people like me, who's like a shaman, witch doctor, you know, coming into my evolution in the cocoon, going through the stage of the butterfly, I mean the worm to the butterfly, you have to unite yourself with all these forces, negative and positive. That's what it means to be a god. You see, I call myself a god on Facebook. I let everybody know I'm a god, and that's what a god is. A god is to accept all elements, all spirits, all entities, all aliens, to unite from them. You know, my journey is the same journey as Enoch, and he goes up into heaven, and each angel take him on their own unique journey. So my journey is just that. You know, when I told you in my video I haven't slept, and I just been taking every time I close my eyes to a double world, it's like my eyes is an open portal. It's been like that for 2 years now. That's why I'm able to disseminate information and come to these conclusions and build up my philosophy, not from reading no books. It's from experiencing and being in those other worlds and seeing that there is another side to everything. They're very intelligent, and you travel through light. You know, I go to different constellations. So I'm not telling you something that is theoretical. It's something that to say, hey, there's somebody that experienced this shit and this is what's going on. This person is not crazy or insane. And so what I experience and think I'm crazy or insane or something that I brushed off is more to it. Listen to this. So basically, you know, that will make it more feasible for you to understand everything from the perspective that I'm giving it to you from. But all of these, it's just like the book of Enoch. You learn from each one of these elements. They teach you not just lessons like as far as spiritual lessons, which is like the first part of it. You learn cleansing yourself, and that's the first step to entering into shamanism, witch doctorism, healing, Reiki. Is first you got to take the journey through your demons. Everybody have a shadow side, but they don't face it. We deny it. And so by denying it, it grows. It's the one that holds your fears. It's the repressor of your fears. It holds all your fears, but it grows into a dark demon. Most of the time, it comes out in sex. It shows you become like a sex god, a sex goddess when it comes to fucking, and it's the right person. And you release yourself in those forms, which is natural and good. But when it's not in sex, it becomes acted out in unconscious behavior and these attitudes. And so these attitudes is the triggers or the antennas of the frequencies that you tune to, because your DNA is determined by your attitude, the alignment. You see, your DNA is a slinky, you could say, a spring. And as you draw it far apart, the lines of it split up further. But as you put it closer together, the springs are really closer. So what wind up happening now is that you get a whole bunch of these connections that connect to your DNA. So as each one connects to your DNA, you might have a better frequency you give off, a oneness with the resonance of like the 7.8 megahertz of the Schumann frequency, which will make you connect to all entities, all beings, the all. This is what happens when you have sex. They said when you climax, really, you having the all. That moment for you is the real all of everything. So when you do that now and you one with everything, you see all of matter. You're in like the electromagnetic field. So you see everything in the electromagnetic field. So you will see beings from every constellation, the beings from the 12 zodiac. You will see the seraphims, the cherubs. You'll see reptiles, reptilians, grays. It's endless. You're going to see fairies, you're going to see giants, you're going to see aliens. Man, let me tell you, everything exists. There's nothing that could die. And so until you learn all of this side of it, you're not going to understand what's fully going on. So once you have these experiences, you're going to realize you can't really get rid of them or push it out, but your attitude will keep you in line with who you're supposed to be and what your destiny is. Because how they do it is they put fake attitudes on TV. If you notice, you look at rap music, everybody saying the same thing, get money, and they're promoting the label's clothes, whatever the label is giving them to wear. And you know they all come from poor families. We're all poor, we're all in the same struggle, but they holding money and cars and acting like they come from the bloodline of the royal family. When you do the research, they're really being pimped by a Jew or somebody. So you got to understand, these people will give these other black people money to make them look like something they're not, so they could fool you. And you run out and take your whole check, everything you work and bust your ass off for, to give it to somebody for some shoes, some sneakers that you're gonna outgrow, or tomorrow they say the value of it ain't worth nothing. So they got you living for nothing. And that's what we doing. We running on a treadmill and ain't getting nowhere. So sometimes our attitude works with how they want you to work. They make the attitude for you to pick upon like an option in life. And when you pick these options, it dictates now the choices you have. Because with certain attitudes, you could be having a situation where you're not threatened, but let's use a simple one, like at the checkout line, you could let the lady up go in front of you because she's old. But because of your attitude, your ghetto ass attitude, you feel like, fuck that, I'm going ahead or whatever. But that choice you just made right there changed your destiny, changed your future. Because part of your spirit already inside, that was the one that made you challenging and said, fuck that, already said, go ahead, let her go. But you see, because our options of this attitude, it keeps us constrained to not be able to make the right choices, because you have to make the choice of the attitude that was provided with it. So with that in mind, you understand that if you don't override the attitude system, you're going to be stuck in the cycle of just running on the treadmill, because the attitude don't have no growth to it. So if you look at rap music, for instance, and look at even on TV, they only could take you to the scenes of getting out of the car, pouring some bottles, counting some money, having some girls, being in a nice somebody else's house, And these is the scenes they give it to you to hypnotize you. You're being hypnotized. Every time you watch that, that's not real. But this is what their growth of their consciousness is at. Only on that level. Nobody had came after that to show them what came next. The gangsters died because the feds came in and took out everybody, so everybody was left at the most glamorized state of it, and that was now all that you're gonna see and hear. When they rap, you hear people just say how they pull up in cars and they got money and they fucking bitches and they getting money and they fucking bitches and they got cars and they got sneakers and they go to places and they drink this. They drink everything the white people give us. We buy all the white people cars. We let the white people pimp us. We do everything that the white people do. What you said, what the white people brought out today? Yo, check it out. I'm going to be the first to buy it because I'm going to have everything the white people sell, even if it's for $1 million for a cup of ice. I bought it first. Yes. Think about it. This is what's happening with society today. It's our own. It's our own that's doing this to us, man. Our own is fucking us over. What type of shit is that? My son growing up, seeing that. You know, they want to be that too. Is there any consequences to that though? Let me see if that's in the rap song. Let me find a rap song that tell you the fucking consequences of the game. I bet you they wouldn't put that out though. They would be like, yo, take that off the album. Nah, don't put that out. But if you put some shit just glamorizing it, being a motherfucking billboard for them to pimp their merchandise to us in the hood, having these kids go out and sell drugs and don't know the consequences of their actions. Come on, son. How could they evolve? If you don't teach them how to do it, how could they learn from anybody? More than to learn to follow the lamb and fall into a trap. It's the one who survived the trap that come back and teach them how not to fall into that trap. That is the real motherfucker, man. Not the one that keep the shit going. Going for who? The stock market people that bet up on these jail stock bonds? How about all them different departments that you give jobs to for white people that come from upstate and all over the world to urban areas to make money off of this shit? How about all the prisons that order more beds, more buildings, buy new land? Because there's more of us coming. Hey, we got more ideas to trick these fucks. And we got all the more sellout motherfuckers that's going to help us. But nobody's going to do anything to really uplift us. That's the problem. So we got to wake ourselves up, man. These attitudes is just dictated by that. That's saying what I'm telling you. So you don't have a choice. I'm trying to break it by giving you a choice. By showing you that's the choice right there. They have other choices, but I'm focusing on that. Just the attitude. Get rid of attitude and you save yourself from being possessed by spirits. Spirits could only possess a frequency. Spirit could be for a tree as a vitamin. That's usually what happens when you die. You go back to animals as their vitamins and the trees and also every other element in here. But sometimes that element is not for you. But at you vibrating at that frequency through attitude, it makes it now come on to you. And so now it becomes what's called a succubus on you. Just give you more of an attitude and nobody can't tell you nothing. So now it drives you. This driving force that is driving you is what's going to control you, that make you now can't get help. When people try to help you, the attitude is going to shun everybody away and push everybody away. So now eventually eat you, and you age, you get sick, you get old, till it kill you. And so that's how it works. That's the whole process of it. And you got to understand that these things is set here on purpose to destroy the black nation. Once they feed you attitude, it's the same like how they was feeding us heroin, then the dope, then they was feeding us LSD, then they was feeding us acid, then they was feeding us ice, then they was feeding us crack, then they was feeding us basalt. Everything that they feed you. You didn't bring it. We didn't invent it. You can't even blame them. They go in the corner trying to make $1. They bring that in here. That's the only way. But you got to understand that so you don't make the wrong choice. It's not them pushing it onto you. It's the choice you make. You understand? And I'm not using it in the drug-only world. It's the attitude, that diva attitude, that ISIS attitude, that I'm the goddess, I'm the bitch attitude. I want me a king to be my slave attitude. It's none of that gonna work, man. That's all part of attitude. You have to relieve that because all that come with a spirit, a possessing spirit. So that's why we get these spirit on us. I always taught and I always tell people to keep your mind clear when you go to sleep at night, to reflect back on the day, and whoever you offended, call them and straighten it out. Keep your conscience clear, because you're living in a world that attitude, just me surviving and people trying to do other shit off of that fact they're not them, they're a possession, and it's a opposing force to you is going to be coming on to you. And if you don't have the Jedi Knight mind and know these things, you're going to get caught up in these possessions, and not just the ones you don't see or the ones you see in your dreams or you see these spirits. These will come in the form of physical people because they're already possessed. You understand? So you got to have the wisdom of Solomon and understand demonology even more in details. And I'm going to teach you it. You know, give me time, give us some energy, and give us some, you know, everything so that God will and the power within. And I know it's going to happen. That's all I'm going to tell you, because this is just the beginning. We didn't get into the worlds there I'm in now trying to make sense of, you know. It's a lot going on. But since we're on this and the shaman at the same time and witch doctor, because it's all the same, learning it is part of the same journey. You know, you're going to be having to go into stars, go into different dimensions, different frequencies, heal people from long distance. And actually, you know, it's something I know I do it myself. Was when I first got attacked by these things was to learn how to do an exorcism. And once I did an exorcism on myself, I went around doing exorcisms on other people too who get these spirits. So if you get these spirits on you, practice on getting them off yourself. Using a candle and binding them. If you really feel you're possessed or that person's possessed, by you using a candle and you doing some ritual prayer or something, I used the Psalms 23. It worked for me, believe it or not. And I know I did it in the name of Yahweh, and I used Yahweh. It worked twice. After that, it didn't work no more. But you know what? I knew, because it told me inside, make up your own. Use your own words. Believe in what you said. So really, for it to work, you got to say it where you get them goosebumps on your hands and your hair is standing up and your spine is like sticking up. You got to mean it. These things ain't going to manifest because it's your repressed side of your subconscious. They hide them back there, but they act out. As long as you don't recognize them, they live. But as soon as you recognize them, they cease to live. They just poof, disappear, because they need you not knowing as the energy to make them live. So now once you're able to get that out of you, that darkness start clearing out. Everything start coming out. Everything start coming out. You just have light inside of you. But you have to face these sometimes, because sometimes these entities that is on you, it could be from your parents yelling and screaming at you, from you not getting that ice cream or that Christmas gift. It could be from you being raped. It could be from somebody punching you in the face. It could be somebody telling you you ain't shit. It's a million reasons. It's called post-traumatic stress. Post-traumatic stress leads to your subconscious, you doing what's called having an out-of-body experiencing, meaning that you eject from your body to go into deal with that event at that moment, because your spirit or soul can't accept what's going on. Usually it's when you believe in somebody or something and they violate that. Once they violate that, you probably there and they in your face doing wrong. Like, it's like seeing your mother smoke crack or your father doing cocaine, and you have no choice but to see it. So when you see that, your spirit and soul eject from you so that another soul or spirit could come in and experience it for you. It's like a protection thing. But sometimes now, we wind up getting caught up with the zodiacs, because when you go there, what we call the astral world is really just world of the zodiac, the 12 zodiacs. They're all lessons of the zodiac. We call it the halls of Amentet. So a lot of people go there when they disassociate, and they wind up staying there. So these spirits start coming inside the physical body and assume that person, and they not themselves no more. And so this is what happens. So they come and go, and they live most of their life in a disassociative type of way, a kind of half-conscious, unconscious state where they're always sleeping. So these is what bring it about, is through these post-traumatic stresses. It could be from being in the military. If you look at military record, you see it there the most. And all these people in there have the most weirdest astral experiences, sexual encounters, and visits and all these stuff because of the post-traumatic stress of their subconscious mind. Everything takes place in the subconscious mind. And so when you're in the subconscious mind, you got to realize you're in like the Akashic records of the astral world. It's like the brain of the universe. So you're seeing everything and experiencing everything according to your identification number or spirit. You was there from the beginning, maybe as one particle. And that one particle, as it went through evolving and experiences, it wind up accumulating images, symbols. And so these is what you're seeing and dealing with. But they're your soul images and symbols. And so it has only to do with you. It's not a negative thing. It's not there to hurt you. And you're not a physical person, so don't think you're going to stay in a physical form even if you feel like something is attacking your body. You have a psychic system and a nervous system. Your regular nervous system works with your 5 senses, but you have an invisible psychic system that works with what's called your cannabinoid system. This cannabinoid system, it's called cannabinoid because not just because of cannabis, because it works off of Cyrus. You understand? The ibis, the word canine, you understand? And so being that we have this cannabinoid system, this gives us psychokinesis. Psychokinesis is our kundalini. Our kundalini is points of references that spin and swirls, like how our hair spin in a swirl. This is how it grows out. It grows out in a swirl, like how they do them knitting of them straw trays and all that shit. And so now your hair is the same way. You got nappy hair. That's why in the Bible they say God got locks. Straight hair is not locks. Straight hair is straight hair. Locks is anything that's curly. That's a lock. Black people hair is not nappy. That's a misnomer white people gave us for the proper word, locks. You have different compression levels of locks. Like I told you, you know what I'm saying, if the closer your DNA is together, the greater the reference point for you to touch the receiver so you could connect to the higher beings. But when you have an open spring, you don't have that many connections. It's the same thing. Those with nappy peasy ass head is more connected to God. The ones who have the braid a little bit longer and curly, and so forth, is that the same, like, melanin context, whoever have the most melanin or whatever. But you also got clear melanin, liquid melanin. Melanin is everything. Everything is melanin. Y'all don't understand melanin. Y'all don't have no idea what melanin is. Not even the government, the greatest scientists, they just tapping into the come on. Or maybe they just don't want to tell us. But now melanin is, whoo. Wait till y'all learn what melanin is. Y'all gonna probably just want to be the Spider-Man suit. You know the black Spider-Man suit from Spider-Man? Just that, not with Spider-Man in it, just by itself. That's melanin. They know that too. That's why you got Godzilla and all that, man. The destroyer, Horus, destroyers. But it ain't no destroyer. It's a loving energy. But they know it's a thinking, breathing, living thing. It's inside your brain. It makes everything happen and animate everything. It's over your skin too. It's over everything. But, you know, back to what I was saying. So, you know, once you got to realize you got to unify with all these energies. That's how you be the shaman. The shaman is the one who take the journey through everything and come back out battered, bruised, tore up, and is in the arms of God. And God now comes and cloak him with his vestments and send him back in the world to be a teacher and a healer. But his job is to always risk his life. There's no such thing as death. He knows, because he die every minute. Every minute he's probably in a astral state, a meditative state. And that's how we stay as these shamans, because we're the soul. And if you know, we have a lot of definition for the soul. Until you experience the soul, there's only one soul. The soul of the universe, the soul of the earth, the soul of the moon. It's all one soul. But in it, it has many forms, you know, depending on how you characteristics of yourself and who you are by genetic trait and where you come from celestially. That's your form, but you're still in that one soul. So I see you in the soul world if you're in there, trust me. And I see many people. And so the soul is another part that you're not conscious of. I could have seen you in the soul world and you're doing this and doing that, and I'll call you and be like, yo, you doing this or you meditating this? And you be like, no, what are you talking about? It's just, and I'm seeing it like it's day, and I interact with you like it's day. So you don't know what your soul is doing. The soul been here many lives. You just connect with it sometime when that conscious and subconscious wall drops, and you start to see some of that spirits and all them things, entities you're seeing the soul world. And up there, your soul is a G. Your soul is God. You know, you gotta understand, it's deep. I'm God in my world, but we share a world together. And you see, around the edge of me is a magnetic field that makes me not here. I'm not here. Like, you're not here. You're in here experiencing, but you'll suck back like you went into back a hole, and you're not here. You come out of a magnetic circle, a cell, and it forms your shape. So we're in one world, yes, that God created, yes, but you're God in your own world. Everybody is. You understand what I'm saying? So on that note, you have to attain yourself back to your God status. You're not a God in your world or the cell that you're in, or what we call the Merkaba, until you get back into the driver's seat, the cockpit, and know how to fly it, know how to control it, know how to navigate through the whole universe in different dimensions. Then you're the God of it, because you be passing everybody like, you see everybody see you, the gods see you, aliens see you, dinosaurs see you. You even see cartoon people, shit that look like Voltron, half body, half robot with black faces. It's so many different beings from all over, and they observing you and they interact with you, some test you. It's unbelievable, but this is all offered to you. Once you take control of your Merkaba, you understand these spirits, and that's what it is to be a shaman. Because if everything is eternal, you can't die. You're being tricked. All right, so you spend all your life figuring that out, or a few lifetimes figuring it out. Okay, now you figured out. What the fuck you gonna do now? There is something to do. That's to be the witch doctor, the shaman, the Tron, you know, the God. It's many levels to it. It's many levels. And after you choose now, after you figure you've been tricked and you find out you're the soul, you see your soul already have tasks that it do. And you're just going to be able now to be uniting yourself, where you do the task with the soul in the sense that you do it in the physical world too. What happens in the astral world always come down to the physical later. But now you transcend it by you going in under meditation, and you do it in the astral, and it comes down to the physical. But the thing to it is the astral don't let people in there who do what they want to in a material sense. You can't go in the astral world and want a material thing. You're assigned things to do in there. You don't go in there and want a house, and you want a new car, and you want money. You ain't even getting up there with that type of attitude. You go up there because of your humbleness and just want wisdom. That's how you get up in there. Anyways, to summarize, you could stop the entities and everything on you by staying positive. If it's feeling overwhelming and you're worried about it, light a white candle. A white candle always get rid of spirits. They get caught in the magnetic field because the spirits is attracted to the plasma in us, in our DNA, that fire, that light. And so with that and the magnetic field that's emanating from our field, it brings them to you. So by you lighting the candle gives off the infrared of the outside, and this flame itself is plasma. So it will take to the flame before it take to you, because yours is weaker than the flame. So anywhere in your house, in the room, you just light a candle in there. If it's bad spirits in there, they'll go directly in the candle. How you know they're in the candle? You'll see the image inside of the wax. The wax that flows from the candle will have the images of whatever you caught inside of it. You see sometimes faces, you see demons, dragons, all types of shit come in them candles. Now, if that you burn the candle and you see the wax is all clear and nothing, it looked like a perfect quarter or something, that means there was nothing there. Your house was clean, you was clean. Now, if you burn the candle and you see that the candle won't break, it's still a whole no wax is on the ground, and you're just about the candle is gone and no wax is coming, you're possessed like a motherfucker. Now, if you could burn the candle and you see wax, then you're normal. If it breaks it, you will see spirits in it. You're clean. It took out whatever. All right, that's the 3 stages of a candle. Stage 1 is when you see spirits in the candle, that means that it cleans you out and you're good now and you cleaned out your house. If the wax is clean and just look like a quarter and it's nice, you was never possessed and the house is clean. If it burns and nothing come, no wax, no nothing, you possessed, get in touch with me. University of Conscious Science. One love.